She walks in beauty, like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed in that tender light which heaven to gaudy days denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired their nameless grace, which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place, and on that cheek and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. That was Byron circa 1813, and holy crap, he's good. This is the best. He's made a lot of progress, which I suppose makes sense. But this is a really a far cry from some of his earlier work, which it was only like 6 years before. It's not that much more, but he is more worldly. He's traveled at this point, but this is this was published in 1813, and it's usually just referred to by the opening lines. She walks in beauty, and this is beautiful. This is gorgeous. This particular poem actually makes an appearance in Arcadia, near in the second act of the play. It gets referenced, and it's gorgeous. It's just great. Some of the things I like about it, it's describing a beautiful woman, and so one would think that it would be charged with love, but I don't get a vibe of a man in love from this play. I get, honestly, the more I read it over and as I was memorizing it, the more, especially near the end, it rang of like longing to be the way he's describing her. He uses this wonderful device of the contrast, I guess, because he talks about her dark hair, and keeps talking about the contrast of light and dark throughout the poem, and it's interesting because it starts off more kind of like literal, like describing this beautiful woman in a dark dress at nighttime, but by the end, it's more it's metaphorical darkness and metaphorical lightness, purity and goodness, and by this point, it sounds like he's jealous. Especially those last two lines: a mind at peace and a heart whose love is innocent. He lived through many a scandal, and wrecked homes, and was not a well-reputed gentleman, and knew it, and yet continued to act that way. But when I read this, I read a man crying for help, and it's gut-wrenching, especially because of how beautiful it is. This is some really it's a payoff from going through some of his earlier more flawed stuff. But I mean, this is kind of a return to earnesty too. Like, this reads so much more earnestly than his disdain towards his critics in English bards and Scotch reviewers, and his disdain towards the politics of the mainland Europe when he writes Childe Harold's Pilgrimage. And so I love this. This is, I didn't expect to love a Byron poem this much because of how unsavory of a character he was. But this is just really, I enjoyed this one a lot. So yeah, this was She Walks in Beauty. I'm going to be doing one more Byron next week, and then it's going to be back to Shakespeare. So yeah, last next weekend is our closing weekend of Arcadia up in Concord at the Hatbox Theater. So if you haven't seen it, please, I encourage you to check it out. It's really culmination of a lot of hard work by a lot of really talented and just great humans. so so yeah, if you have the ability and opportunity to see it, please, by all means, I'll link the event in the video. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back next week.